All right, we should be live. Welcome to the stream. A lot of big news this week. Channel memberships are live. I'm about to head to Florida for an A tier at in Gainesville, Garrett Gerthy's hometown, but uh, played disc golf there for 3 years. So it's kind of my disc golf hometown because I only played disc golf for 4 years. So one of my original home courses, Northside Park, that'll be two of the 3 rounds, and then a new course that they just put in at Legacy. So I think the fact that it's a new course will work a little bit in my favor since I'm coming from out of town. It would be great if I had been local this entire time, but I'm still pretty excited about this tournament, and I think that I have a good chance of maintaining my cash streak. I also played a quick tournament yesterday. Almost had an incredible round, but didn't quite. All right, I got to get my stream monitoring up here and double check, of course, if the sound is off, because I always forget. All right. So as far as channel memberships go, it's nothing incredible yet. I'm hoping to be able to give some real improvements to the channel memberships in the future. But just starting out, actually, Doc is here displaying one of the little perks of being a channel member. And that is that you're going to get a badge for becoming a channel member. And that badge gets upgraded the longer that you're a member at that tier. So Doc has a little disc next to his name there because he's an absolute legend and already became a channel member that quickly. And I'm hoping to add more membership tiers. So don't worry, guys. It's not just going to be one membership tier. We're going to be adding more and hopefully more. All right, how's that? Are we good? Okay, hopefully I fixed it. Dang, that's so annoying. Oh, that's terrible. I think we're good. I think we're back. Ugh. Dude just says, please upgrade your internet with the membership dues. I will do my best to do that. That would be fantastic. Yes, hopefully the membership can pay to boost that because they're just little issues every stream, it seems like. I never seem to just hop into a stream and have everything go well. Let's see. I don't know when I cut out, but Brent is not playing. He's staying local with family. He's not traveling to Florida. Dude just says, you know what? We need some rivalry here. I'm breaking off and joining Team Brad. Heck yeah. Team Brad is where it's at. Hey, Justin's here. Flying Potato hopping on. Dude just says, just to spice things up. Doc says, you're dead to me, but I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your parents. Nice. Dude just says, unfortunately, I have to request every purchase I make online through my parents. I don't know if they'd let me spend $5 a month on a random to them yet channel. Totally fair, and I understand that. So hopefully you can eventually, get that approved because then I can run a members only giveaway and you have a higher chance of winning an Emperor or something like that. I actually might be able to get was it a Garrett Gerthy Emperor that I have? Or a Wraith? Yeah, I might be able to get a Garrett signed Emperor or Wraith from him. I think maybe it was January when I got it last year, when I got a couple from him. But good shot that I get something from Garrett. He's a pretty friendly guy. Doc says all the money goes to Brad's internet. Yeah, that sounds about right. Doc says, Dude, we get it. When you get older and Brad's doing the protected divisions, then we will get you to help out. Anyone get a Ledgestone mystery box? Hoping for the cart because I'm old. Yeah, cart would be nice, but I looked at all of the Black Friday ones at least, and I'm not saying they're a scam, but the $50 box and the $250 box both have a 1 in 25% chance of winning the cart. So if you really want the cart, you buy multiple $50 boxes and not the big box. And I didn't really find the value scaled up a whole lot to the bigger boxes. I looked at the 50, 100, and 150, and maybe you get, $10 more value in the 150 versus the 50, but they sold out of all the 50s. I have a feeling somebody bought 10 of them just banking on winning a cart and selling off a bunch of discs and coming out ahead. But yeah, I actually looked at that because I had a Disc Golf Pro Tour. I had the Disc Golf Pro Tour uh, gift card from doing the commercial shoot. So I went on, I was excited and picked out a few discs. I went to check out, and there was like pretty decent Black Friday discount. So I had like a retriever stick that was 35 instead of $50. So I spent another like 20 minutes looking through all their discs, picked out a new disc, added them all, and I went to check out, and it took away all of the Black Friday deals because I was using my gift card. So I went back and deleted a disc, and then came back, and then after everything, they added $8 of shipping on top of it. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm paying $8 for two discs and a retriever. The deal was pretty good, but of course, not getting the deal because you had a gift card, that's kind of a bummer. Doc says, "Oh, Brad, I did get a Drew Gibson Jokiri from Whatnot. I had a Jokiri. I don't know if I have one still. I don't think so. This is my range. Yeah, I had a Jokiri. It's a nice stable putter. I think I won that from Evan Gerthy actually. So that's kind of fun. Doc says, I did Ledgestone 8 discs, $119 and gift. So you didn't do the Black Friday boxes, you did the straight up Ledgestone. Okay. Yeah, I think I did their. Maybe I did that one. 120. I feel like I spent less than 100. Kevin says, bro, I got a Boca. That is one of the new, the Simon line disc that everybody wants from the gyro boxes. Is that true, or are you trolling us? I can never trust Kevin anymore. Doc says, what is the Boca? What kind of retriever? Second question. It's the 16-foot retriever with the suction cups at the end. I was like, hey, a gift card, $50 retriever. I don't have it at all right now. It'd just be nice to have one. So hopefully it's going to be useful. Dude just says was going to grab a Ledgestone box, but I was a day too late and they sold out. Oh man, that's really annoying. The Ledgestones seem to sell out kind of fast. Ledgestone here is still the good $120 one. Dude just says things just prototypes. Yeah, from what I know with the Boca, I mostly know because I filmed the opening of a gyro box of a friend, and he was telling me that it's only available if you went to Gyropalooza or if you find it in one of the gyro boxes because it's still a prototype, like you said. So it's not publicly available unless you get fortunate or we're at Gyropalooza. And Kevin says, no, for real, Kyle got it for me. Okay, there you go. Doc says, hope it flies well for you. Well, it might be a resale. People do want it quite a bit. I mean, heck, dude, if you're not selling it, I want to do a review of it. That would be really great. So if you're gonna have your hands on that for over a week, please let me take it for a day, get some throws on camera, and do a disc review of the Boca. That would be fantastic for my channel. Or we can even collaborate on a disc review. That'd be even better. Dude just says the initial release a couple weeks ago sold out. I bought those 7 on the Discord from my local shop. The initial release of the Boca or of... No, because you bought other discs that you're talking about. Sarah and Muffin says, howdy. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Appreciate you being here. Kevin says, from Play It Again. The Play It Again gyro box or just the disc? I'm confused. Doc says, picked up 7 shoes and 3 Prodigy M's for $35. Heck yeah. Alex says, got the Noodle Arm Discmania box and got a tilt. That is great, dude. That pays for the box. That's awesome. And ironic. That's very funny. Doc says, let me know how the suction one goes. Been thinking about it. The retriever seems to work. I've borrowed 1 or 2 from people, and as long as you have a little force to kind of slap it down on top of the disc, it seems to grab it and pull it up for you. It's a little bit annoying to pull discs out of water because you're pulling where you can kind of try to anchor it up, but the flat disc is just pushing against water tension the entire time. But you can get it sideways, get it out of the water. But it's just a little bit annoying. Jack, I don't know what you're talking about. Doc says, Alex, I saw someone on YouTube did that. Got the tilt. That's great. Kevin says, of course, Boca review coming in a few weeks. Probably the boost as well. Man, it's gonna be a busy December for the channel. Whew. Shoes and M's to give out to noobs on the course. That's how it's done, Doc. Well done. Alex says, Jenkins got one. I freaked out. I bet you did. You pulled the tilt out. And you're like, oh my gosh. Suddenly, the value of all my discs just doubled. That's a real pull. Dude just says, only reason I don't get a shoe is because it's going to be too flippy thrown flat. And uplink turns into a roller flat now. Yeah, 100%. Dude, you're going to throw, if the wild honey's too flippy, a shoe is too flippy. That's for sure. Sarah Cowherd says, hey, birdie time, almost aced number 1 at Scrapyard today. Ooh. I don't have very many, maybe only one shot at Scrapyard hole 1 that was even close to an ace. It doesn't really play for my backhand, the turnover. I've had a few good skip shots in there. Jared is actually, my buddy's been closer to an ace than I have on that one. That's really great, though. Congrats. That's really awesome. If I had more time, I would have probably played Scrapyard today, actually, or at least gotten some putting practice in. But I'm headed to Florida early tomorrow morning. I'm headed out, hoping to arrive in time to get a practice round in at the new course in Gainesville, Legacy Park, so that I'm more prepared for the A tier this coming weekend. But I have had a lot of things to try to catch up on. Also, my video, I'll be uploading it tomorrow. I had done Friday night and I tried to upload it Saturday morning. All sorts of issues. The video failed multiple times. I re-exported it, re-uploaded it, failed again, and I had to change my export settings, re-export it again, and re-upload it again. So I think I exported it 3 times and uploaded it 4 times. And the 4th time was the charm. Finally, it looks like everything is good for that video. So irritating. So technical difficulties today. Definitely a little bit obnoxious. Didn't have the time that I wanted to. Doc says, Dude, I was just messing with you. It's good if you need to throw lefty out of trouble. That's kind of true. Dude, I've been using the Zone GT a lot recently, become a fan of the dip on the plate. There you go. That sort of annoys me, the way that I hold discs, the range, the Berg, the Zone GT, but I can get why some people absolutely love it. Just having a thumb track like that can be right where you put your thumb. It's not where I put my thumb, so it kind of annoys me a little bit. Dude just says, don't think I've ever tried to scramble lefty. I've done it in tournament twice, I think. Ashley says, frisbee much. Yes, lots of discs here. I play in a lot of disc golf tournaments and, of course, have a disc golf channel. But yes, technically it is different. They are different than a frisbee. Ultimate frisbees, which are meant to be caught and are very blunted, versus the disc golf disc, which is very much built for distance and speed, as opposed to a frisbee, which is for playing catch. But the disc golf discs are all different. They're all unique. So there are a lot of different flight paths through the air that a disc is going to take. Dead straight, turn over, a lot of fade, turn and fade depending on how you throw it. You can even throw rollers. Ashley says, love frisbee when I was young. I played a lot of ultimate frisbee, including on a college club team, and it was great. But disc golf, I found I'm much better at than just ultimate frisbee. Doc says, also, Whatnot got a Nautilus from Neptune, a Synapse, and a Tyrannosaurus Red. Finally got a Dino disc. There you go. Alex says, thinking about dyeing the tilt. Oh, gosh. That's cool. That's fun. What you should do, here's what you should do. This is a dumb idea. You should dye it as if the paint landed on it and rolled off on one side, like it was tilted. Okay, let's just move on from that. We'll pretend I never said anything. It's risky, yeah. You gotta be careful with dyeing an expensive disc like a tilt. Duda says, do you ever buy from Ganon streams, or do the discs go for too much because it's Ganon? Yeah, that's a good question for Doc. I don't for sure buy from anybody's streams or anything. I try not to buy at all. Doc says especially for playing Ripped. Yeah, yeah, Ripped Revenge. Yeah, I've done the lefty throw and Ripped Revenge slash spinning the wheel. Probably both of those I've thrown lefty. Doc says, yeah, Ganon, I do cheap discs. The Jokiri was the most at 11 with shipping because it's pretty. That's not bad. Zone GT is fun. Dude says, weather around me has been cold, so my routine of building up for disc golf has increased a lot. Bundling up, sorry, I didn't read that correctly. Bundling up for disc golf. Yeah, and it's really annoying. Like, I've played in Michigan in the middle of winter, and for me, I can't throw with the coat on. So I'm literally taking off the coat, taking off the glove, throwing the disc, putting the glove back on, putting the coat back on, walking to the disc, take it back off. It's so irritating. I just absolutely hate it. So frustrating. Problem says Jesus loves you and died for you, man. Yes, he did, and I'm proud to be a Christian, and I'm glad to hear that probably you are as well. And I hope that you trust God with your life and live for Him in obedience. Dude says average of like 25 degrees with wind, but we're still out there. Gah. Yikes. that's a no for me. I'll just stay inside. Sarah Cowherd said, my dad texted you on Instagram to see if you wanted to play around. Understand that you couldn't play because you have something in Florida, but so happy that you responded. Absolutely. And that'll be fun if we can, the three of us get together, get a round in. But yep, headed out tomorrow early in the morning for Florida. I have an A tier this weekend where I'll be playing with Garrett Gerthy. Well, not in the field with Garrett Gerthy, Corey Ellis, Braden Sides, several other Chandler Kramer, several other Pro Tour level players. So that's going to be very fun. And I actually was very close last year. I played MA1 and I won. I was very close to beating Braden Sides last year. I think I was 2 strokes behind him. But to be fair to me, I actually played in worse conditions, about 15 degrees colder in the morning when I played versus when MPO played in the afternoon. So I'm excited to be out in the MPO division on an even playing field. And if things go well, I mean, my shot of making coverage might come down to like a 20% chance if I'm playing a good, solid round of golf because I played a lot of rounds at Northside Park. So hopefully day one is my best and I can make it on lead coverage. And then hopefully round two is also good if I make coverage because I hate how both times I've been filmed I played bad. But anyway, dude just says a shipping slip. Let me know. I am getting a gyro box for Xmas. Hard part is now waiting the month to actually use it. Yeah, a month to wait, knowing that it's in the mail. Gonna be waiting for you under that tree. That's tough. Sarah Cowherd says, because you're a YouTuber and a YouTuber has never responded to me. Well, I hope that you feel included in the disc golf community and in my community because I'm all about you guys. I appreciate all of you. You support me, you watch my content, you interact with me in the live streams. So it's no problem at all to respond to a message like that. Dude just says also would have bought a lot on Black Friday, but kind of broke. Just bought new skis. Oh, skis. Yeah, skis are gonna be expensive. Sarah said, so it felt cool. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to be able to have some interaction with you guys, both on the stream and over Messenger, Instagram like that. And I'm very excited. It's gonna be a fun round. Doc says, hope the skiing goes well. Dude just says local slopes should be opening within the coming weeks. There you go. There you go. Doc says, Brad, just be safe driving down there. If you need to stop and rest, do it. Yeah, we'll do. I mean, I made the 7-hour trip from Gainesville to Charlotte and back probably 10 times in the last year, maybe 12. So it's a fairly normal trip. I just stop a couple of times for gas, maybe Taco Bell, something special. But I'll be careful. I won't be silly or make any dumb choices. Probably. Yeah, I'll do my best to be safe, for sure. I mean, I've done a 17-hour drive, so 7 doesn't scare me too much. Sarah Cowherd says, my mom is a midwife and her client's husband is famous. Forgot his name. He's a disc golfer, though. Oh, you've got to remember his name and tell us next week, because I'm very interested now. That's so cool. Client's husband is a famous disc golfer. Well, Isaac Robinson just had a kid. Um, Kevin Kiefer just had a kid. Um, who is the other? Macy Valdez was just pregnant. Who? Somebody else. Who was it? Oh, Katrina Allen just had a kid. P31 says, God bless you and thank you for the content. Going to Cho, played at Legacy yet? I am going to Cho. That's this weekend. So I'm driving down tomorrow morning. Hopefully I can arrive in time to get in a round at Legacy. I'm sure it'll be a trek of a round. But if I can get in a quick round, get familiar with the course, then get back out there for a couple of full practice rounds, that'll be great. I'm also playing the Flex warm up at Jonesville on Thursday, even though I'm not competing at Jonesville in MPO. And I think I might be the only one playing an MPO because everyone else is like, why would I show up on Thursday to not practice one of the courses I'm competing at? But I think for me, it'll be a good break from some intense practice on at Legacy and Northside, and then to just get in a little tournament round, get the competition flowing, but also, get a little bit of, competitor nerves out of the way on Thursday before really jumping into it on Friday. So I'm pretty excited. I mean, I could, be feeling really sore and have to drop out or something like that, but I'm pretty excited for that. It's gonna be fun. Doc says, "Are you in NC? If so, maybe Big Germ. Jewel is his wife. Yes. Yeah, Big Germ could be Big Germ. That's a good point. Yeah. Who else just had? Oh well, it doesn't matter. A lot of people are pregnant or have kids. Can't narrow all of them down. Uh, Sarah says he has a nickname though for disc golf. Yeah, Jeremy Colling. Yeah. His name is Big Germ. That's it. Hey, look at that. Good work. Good investigative work. That's awesome. Doc says, no worries. That's why I'm here, even through the tears of Brad's name calling and calling me old. Hey, I mean, recognizing the truth is not name calling and it's not, an insult. You should be proud of your advanced age, Doc. It shows some maturity and a little bit of wisdom here and there. And as you start just completely graying out all of your hair, you can look back on the many, many, many years that you've experienced with some pride. How do you spell bleh. How do you spell his last name? Yeah, it's K yeah, Colling. Koling. Jeremy Cooling. Yeah, it's Koling, I'm pretty sure. Colling. Yep. It's your boy Trev says, "What's up, buddy?" So I opened 2 gyro boxes yesterday with the team. Got so many goodies. Awesome. That's great. I filmed one gyro opening yesterday. Yesterday was a long day. I did that yesterday, and so that's going to be dropping on the channel soon. I'm hoping to get that edited. I'd love to get that edited tomorrow night. We'll see what my time frame looks like with my traveling all day. But that's awesome. Yeah, they're pretty fun. They're pretty fun to open. And I tell you what, the brick and mortar boxes are pretty crazy. They have like 17 discs. It's kind of unreal the amount of discs that you're getting in the brick and mortar boxes because the online ones are still 11 discs. So that's awesome. Doc says, "What's your favorite so far?" And any clear discs. Oh gosh, I can't interact with that. I will say, Doc, I think you'll like a couple of discs that I opened. I think you'll appreciate them quite a bit. Sarah says, "Gotta go now. I might be back later, but hope you get around in sometime soon. We'll make it happen." Thanks for reaching out, having your dad reach out on Instagram. We'll make that round happen. It's gonna be a great time. Thanks for hopping on the stream. And if I don't catch you, I'll see you later. It's your boy says, "Got it." Nice. Strive says training to be world champ next year. Well, I would say that I'd be training for amateur world champ after playing well this year, but I'm moving on to MPO, so no, I'm not. I'm not planning on being in the running for world champ on the pro tour. Not going to happen. But I like to do my best in MPO and see what happens throughout the year. I currently am on a cash streak. I believe four tournaments in a row. I have squeaked over the cash line. Played yesterday at Renaissance, and it was kind of an impromptu tournament. I wasn't planning on it. I didn't get in a practice round, and then Friday night I was looking. My brother sent the link to the tournament to me, and I was like, you know what? I have a disc to return to somebody who's playing, and why not? I could win some cash. I could up my rating, whatever. And I ended up having a very unusual round. I had two tree kicks that resulted in double bogeys for me, but I had one of the most like what am I trying to say? I had one of the best birdie rates in the field. So I ended up tied for sixth place out of 22, but I had eight birdies and the winner went eight down. So I really could have pulled it off. It wasn't an exceptionally hard course. I could have seen a clean round or maybe a single bogey being a very normal, like good round for me. I mean, Brent has gone like 10 down there in tournament, so I could definitely go, seven down. Um, but unfortunately, it wasn't my best. But I tied for sixth place. I should get just more than my entry fee back in my winnings, which is really nice because I think last cash was ninth place. So my cash streak is alive. Now the real test is going to be rolling over into Thursday and then the Chainhawk Open. Thursday, if I'm the only person in the field, I assume I just get my entry fee back and had a free rated round. Great. If somebody does play, that's going to be really, really interesting. If one person shows up and they beat me, ruining my cash streak just because I lost in a two-person field to one guy would stink. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But the Cho is going to be a test. It's a full-on A tier with pro tour players in the field, but I do have a little bit of home course advantage from a year ago. Hopefully I can really lean into it. All right, let's see. Doc says, "Oh, I have to watch the whole video and not just leave a lazy comment." Yes, that's true. Icy Fox says, "Hi again. It's been a little while. Icy, thanks for swinging back through. Appreciate you stopping by." It's your boy Trev says, "Got a clear pixel and a clear particle." Ooh, nice. Friday Night says, "What is your favorite disc?" For me, oh, here we go. Doc says, "Brave or Honey." Mine is the Dragon. So Wild Honey is close, but the Brave or the Echo would be my top two that I would say. And I actually now have a Brave right here off camera that I keep saying I need to get it dyed, and I'm apparently never going to get it dyed. But I have this Brave that has just been kind of sitting here. Maybe I need to take it with me. Moontree Dyes is going to be in Florida. Mike, I'm going to have to get that done while I'm there. Or my buddy Blaze. And then as far as Echoes, I have a bunch of them. Here's one of my Echoes that I have. Mid-range, just a stable, slightly understable, I think. Mid-range, just a little bit of drift to it, but if you don't throw max power, it's going to have a touch of stability. And I love the Echo. Great disc. So I'd say between the Brave and the Echo, there's going to be my top two. It's your boy Trev says, "I'm doing an all clear bag next year." Oh no, you're going to lose so many discs. P31 says, "I think Soul's probably like number 4. So it's, well, top 5. Brave, Echo, and then in no particular order, Enigma, Soul, and Wild Honey. And the FD1 is close. It's a tough call. It's a great question and a good guess. The Soul is definitely up there." Dude says, "Of the 7 discs I got last week, my MD1 is the favorite." MD1 would be nice. Yeah, MD1's a nice disc. Dude says, "Clear blue for you, Doc." Ooh. Cheap mystery box, but with the value might as well have been like a used bin. That's great. Dude, got my license last week, so my tournament range has expanded. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, that's great. Yes, the freedom to drive yourself to disc golf. That's an amazing feeling. LG Animation says, what's the longest throw you made? On flat ground, 440 with the wild honey, but I've thrown over 500 downhill. Ironically, my own car in the process because I threw a lightweight D2 Air and I hyzer flipped the heck out of this all the way down the hill, almost hit my own car in the middle of the parking lot. I wasn't even parked close to the grass. I was out in the middle of the parking lot. It was kind of wild. That is on camera. It's a YouTube short. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember what it's called. Strive says, so with MPO in the sights, do you feel you're able to get all the distance with your current form? Sort of. Charlotte MPO, yes, I don't lack distance from for courses in Charlotte, and I'm not worried about other people throwing further than me. Oh, heck yeah, thanks. LG Animations dropping a bunch of jewels. So I did a little research in the jewels, so I think every 100 is $1. So shout out LG Animations for the donation. Really appreciate that. Absolute legend. Every little bit goes a long way for me, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. So shout out to LG Animations. Strive says, or asked about MPO. So as far as the Pro Tour, no, I don't have the distance for the Pro Tour. They're next level. They throw 450 on one angle. For Charlotte MPO, yes, I don't think there are almost any holes that I just can't reach. Maybe an eagle look that I don't get here or there that other people could. But the advantage of distance is so little. I would much rather have my accuracy, consistency, clean turnover shots, good putting. And putting really, I think, is key. That really took me to win the Chainhawk Open last year in MA1 and playing on the same, well, one of the same courses twice on the same event going into the A tier this weekend. I really don't feel like my distance is a disadvantage to anybody really except for like Garrett Gerthy, who can get some eagle looks on a couple of the par fours at Northside Park. But as far as I know, Legacy, the new course, doesn't really require massive distance. It's more about placement. Placement sounds good to me. So I would say distance could help me score a little bit better, but I'm mostly concerned with line hitting, clean shots, consistency, and putting. Doc says, thought Honey had taken the Echo spot. My bad. Nah. Doc says, Brad, throw a shoe in your bag in case someone finds one of your babies. Okay. Skip a few from Doc. Dude, it says, sounds like you need this year's Gyrobox, Brad. It's got a special edition Echo. I left it on the stairs. I have one. I paid my buddy for one of his special edition Echoes, so I'm looking forward to getting some throws in with that. I maybe threw it once. I don't actually remember. I had a busy day yesterday when I got it from him and had the tournament to compete in, and I kind of rushed back home to do some stuff. So I haven't been able to throw it more than that one time, but I've got my hands on the special Echo. Maybe two of them if I want to pay for a second one. Dude just says, yeah, if Brad comes close to me, that'd be more likely. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean it's a trek down to Charlotte, but I have family in Michigan, so we'll see. Maybe one day. It'd be awesome. Josh says, where in Florida are you going? Gainesville, Florida. Northside Park and Legacy Park for the Chainhawk Open A tier. Garrett Gerthy's hometown and home course at Northside. He's won like, I don't know, 4 times he's won the Chainhawk Open. So he's a repeat champion. Last year, Hjalmar from Sweden beat him by 1. Hjalmar's playing again. And I have a feeling it's going to come down between Garrett and Hjalmar again this year. But I'm hoping to be in the mix for top 15 out of 57. I think that would be a really nice, solid payout. I believe the tournament cost me 180 to play. So I'm really looking for a payout of over 300 to kind of balance out, the cost of the trip and the tournament. So that's my hope. but the way I played last year would have put me in 16th, no, yeah, 15th place out of 46 players. No, 40 players. 46 players. So I think I have a good shot of doing it if I play well. We'll see. No guarantees. He just says Cincinnati has a few nice courses outside of Idlewild. Friday says, what's your furthest ace? 298 feet. I chained out from 350 with an Enigma. That was a heartbreaking moment right in front of my buddy, who it was like his home course. That would have been incredible. But 298 is my furthest ace at the moment. That was with a Brave on an island hole. Doc says, honestly, if I had to hit a car, I would prefer it to be my own. Yeah, that's true. Dude just says, I don't know what the 100 equates to money, but nice. And I do think it's $1. Andrew says, just got home from leagues in 20-degree temps. What I miss. Sorry to hear that it's 20. That's horrible. You must be Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, somewhere up there, or New York. But just got a big A tier coming up. And shout out to Doc for being, I believe, the first channel member. I now have launched channel memberships. And I'll say it, there aren't a ton of perks, but there are some really cool emotes that you have your hands on. Doc, can you comment with an emote just to give an example of what they look like? I think you have the ability to do that. You should be able to type like team, you should be able to type like team and then have it, or maybe quote team to pull up the emote. I can't remember exactly. Dude, just the usual. Going to Florida. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. Doc showing off the emotes. So those are a couple of hand-designed emotes that were created based on my input. I did not do this. I don't have the ability. But we have a couple of little channel inside jokes here with the soup. Doc says too much work for being a member. Yeah, Doc always struggling to have to put in some effort. It's a real task for him. But if you can't, I don't know how big those are showing up, but we have an actual drawn picture of me holding up a Team Brad sign and Brent holding up a Team Brent sign. And then me drinking some soup and then some soup. I'm pretty excited about the emotes. Doc says, too cold up here, no for a tournament. Yeah, it's chilly. It's been chilly, but it's really cold up north. 20 degrees sounds like your past few rounds. Yeah. Digit reached approximated 475 non-golf line with a new Enigma. Furthest ever thrown. Oh, yeah. That's the Enigma, man. It's a good disc. I'm guessing it just has that stability the Wild Honey lacks so that the Honey doesn't have that full flight, but the Enigma gets the full flight for you. Good bit of wind. We can skip over that. We'll pretend like it was just, no wind help. Bobby says, hello from Fort Mill. What's up, Bobby? Thanks for hopping on. Strive says, don't know if you've met any of the pros, but if you have, is it a crazy feeling to see them in the flesh as someone rising in the game? Yes, for a number of reasons. I ran into Garrett Gurthie on his home course after watching the Portland Open, where he was playing extremely well on coverage. And it was this jarring moment where I was like, you're Garrett Gurthie. And he was just like eating a sandwich. He was like, yep, that's me. He was so nice. And he actually like recognizes me now because I played for 3 years in Gainesville and ended up helping the Gainesville team win WAR for Florida, which is a long story. But so yeah, Garrett actually sort of knows me. He always says hi whenever I walk up and asks me about how things have been going for me. He watched AMP World's results and everything and was happy for me. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's crazy to see someone you've seen on camera. Like when you've watched videos and then you see them in person, that's just crazy. And then when you actually see them play the sport, you're like, oh, so people can do that. It's so next level. Watching Garrett just throw over 500 in a field, it's like, boom. Like a person can do that with a disc. And he's not a huge, tall guy. Like he definitely has, more meat on the bone than I do. But I would say that I'm taller and a little bit lankier than him. And he's just yamming the disc out there like it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I've been able to chat with Isaac Robinson at a disc golf conference in just a really kind, down to earth guy. I played a doubles round on the same card as Sullivan Tipton. Super friendly, really, really like him. I've met Ellie Mitling several times because she's usually down in Florida and has played the Chainhawk Open for the last few years. And she's friends with Trinity Bryant. And I know her brother, Caleb. So I like got a lesson from Johnny McRae. It's just to I'll say that they're people who are usually pretty happy, and you can also see that they're dedicated. They're putting the effort in, they're putting in the work constantly, and it pays off with their level of talent. So it's really cool to see them. Most of them are very nice, and I've appreciated the conversations I've been able to have with them. Uh, it's pretty awesome to meet them in person. Doc says shoes are great to keep in the bag if someone finds your disc or bribe a kid to grab your disc from the water. Oh, I see what you're saying. Um, Doc says 15th place pays 300. We will see. I think last year we had a field of around 40 and 15th place paid like 190, but we have 57 in the field this time. So if I can get maybe like 13th place, we're probably pushing 300, something like that. But I definitely have the capacity to play 12th to 10th if I'm really like playing my best. Because I really believe that with some home field advantage, I can play up toward some of the you know pros that aren't top 20. I'll put it that way. That maybe are just coming through for a day before the tournament, getting in a quick practice round, and then competing, versus all the time that I've spent at Northside Park and getting there tomorrow, being able to get some rounds in. But yeah, there it's an A tier, so there's added cash, and with 57 people, the payout's going to be pretty decent. Dude just says, I'm the kid that you'd bribe to get your disc. LOL. Strive says, got my first and only ace in the second year, roughly 220 with a total shank forehand that somehow went in. That's awesome. Joseph with the 5, thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I hit you with a 5 every time I catch you live. Well, dang, I'm gonna start going live every day now. No, really appreciate it, Joseph. You're a legend for it. Really appreciate it, and you're not interrupting. I mean, technically, maybe you're interrupting. It's an interruption that I want. So thank you. Shout out to Joseph for being awesome. All right, I'm running a little behind in the comments, but I'm not too bad. And Strive, an ace is an ace, accident or not. So you earned it. That's great. All right, okay. Andrew Peterson says we are hardcore in Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota, land of a thousand lakes. Got 18 of us out there today. Whew, try to go to Texas every winter break for a week, but not this year. Gotcha. Yeah, Minnesota. I've only been in the summer. It's beautiful. Minnesota's great. I imagine it is freezing cold. I grew up in Michigan, so I think I can empathize for the most part with you. Yikes. Josh says you need to come a little further south and play Olympus. It's a must play. I have competed at Olympus, not for the Pro Tour, but I played a Paul Macbeth fundraiser right after the chess.com invitational 2 years ago. And it's a tough layout. I really made just a couple of unfortunate mistakes. Almost had a great round, had just a good round. But yeah, it's a great course. I played the FPO layout though. I still haven't played the full MPO, and I'm kind of scared to, to be honest. I definitely need some more experience before I'm ready for hole 18. That's crazy. Doc says, I remember when top tournament winners bucks. Well, it just depends on the tier of tournament and how many people are going to be there. Because if you play in like my brother won a C tier and the payout was like 130 or something like that because there were 14 of us in the field. But that's a C tier. B tiers have to have added cash and A tiers have to have even more added cash. Honestly, the Chain Hawk Open pays out for age-protected divisions really, really well because you can cash like you can take some real money home, like over 1,000 for winning in a non-massive field. But yeah, also I'm sure Doc that you remember when $300 would buy a house. So DJ says excited to have you come down and play, perhaps on the same card. Perhaps on the same card we will be. Read in Yoda's voice. Sorry, I didn't do that. My buddy Sam has a fantastic Yoda voice, though. He has top tier Yoda. But yeah, that sounds awesome, man. Uh, we'll see. Hopefully, we're on the same card because we're both playing really well. I was on a card with a buddy March this year because we were both playing really bad, and that's always a tough feeling because you're like, cool, I'm with my friend. We suck. Alex says, what would be a great understable mid-range that works great on hyzer flips and thrown flat for lower arm speed? Soul. That'd be the Soul, 100%. I throw the hyzer flip with the Soul, and when I had a low arm speed, I was getting CTPs with it for like straight shots and just dead straight at the basket. But when I started throwing further and faster, it became a really nice turnover disc for me. I throw the Soul to replicate short forehands, and it works great for me. Or gap hitting that needs to turn right afterward. Dude just says uplink. Uplink is good too. Doc says, Doc doing the real work says, Josh or Joseph, join the membership for $5 and you get cool emojis. There you go. Thanks, Doc, for pushing the memberships out there. Legend. Doc says, or Westside Warship. Oh, the shoe. Shoe is a good one, I will say. I do have one here. I have like 5. I do agree with Doc. I rarely do, but the shoe is kind of the Stingray style shape, and this one's not my favorite shape in the hand, but definitely has that drifting turnover. But lower arm speeds will throw it more straight, especially the. Sorry, they're at the bottom of this stack over here. The Dragon plastic is flippier, so I'd recommend the shoe and the Dragon plastic if you go for it. 5-5 -3-1 for the uplink. There you go. Warship or air warship. Andrew Peterson says, can't throw in the water when it's frozen. Can't feel the thorn bushes when your legs are numb. There you go, guys. Looking on the bright side. Erwin says, Norris Chuck, hope you're doing well, Brad. Appreciate you swinging by. Erwin, as always, doing pretty well. About to hit Florida tomorrow and prep for the A tier coming up. Chain Hawk Open. Dude is trying to do more PDGA rated rounds to boost my rating for team applications. The only rated round I have on here right now is 820 from a year ago. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, get those rounds in and you'll jump. Yeah, a couple 925 plus. Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely you will. Yep. Unfortunately, Latitude 64 turned me down. They said no. Bummer. But I think Infinite will probably say yes. I don't know if I'll for sure go with Infinite Discs. They'll have to actually offer me something worthwhile. If they're just like, hey, half the bag needs to be from us, and here's your off for buying your own discs to make that happen, I'll say no. But if they actually give me like a good code and I don't know, something useful, give me something. Dude just says, which was on what I now know as my Nemesis course. Did not know that then. Doc says, I broke him. He's coming around to the shoe. You owe me $1. Joseph says, took your advice on the follow through. Played the last 5 days over the break. 5 days in a row. Not really sore, but have a giant blood bubble blister on my index finger from throwing. I'll take the blame and the credit for that. No, I'm really glad, and I'll pass on the credit to Johnny McRae for recognizing that in me and helping coach me into following through better. And I'm so glad to hear that that's helping you out. I hope it really gets your body mechanics in a healthy place where you have longevity in the sport and you can play that 5, 6 rounds in a week. You just got to get that callus built up and you'll be good to go. That is a bummer, man. The blisters are brutal. DJ says, sucker for the Latitude Fuse. 5-6 -1-0. Yeah, the fuse is solid. Bagged it for a while. I know Johnny McRae just loves the fuse and has several like tour series fuses type. I don't know if they're tour series technically speaking or whatever that is, but dude just says relatable Joseph. My callus ripped, and after a full round, it looked like I murdered someone. Irvin says, good luck, Brad. Thank you very much. I'm hoping for top 15, hoping to aim at really like 12th, 13th place, and to cash and take like $300 would be great. To almost doubling my entry fee is kind of the goal, because I'm going to be in Florida for a week. So I'm really hoping to make it partly worth my while. 57 in the field for MPO. Doc says Fuse is a nice disc too. Yes, it is. Fuse is good. Doc says Brad try discount discs if Infinite says no. Does discount do sponsorships? Lone Star is desperate. Hit them up. Lone Star might be desperate, but I'm not that desperate yet. Doc says Joseph, you see discount discs had sick deals on Lone Star. I'm sure they did. Dude just says advocating for a birdie time team. One day. One day. Final says, I ordered 10 judges. I'm going to throw 10,000 putts. You're going to be a putting master. That is awesome. Heck yes. Tell me how it goes. That's fantastic, dude. Doc says, Final, order any lemon-scented ones. Doc says, dude, it's a reverse team. You pay him to be on it. That's how memberships work. I mean, that's how a lot of teams work anyway for lower level players, because they have to buy enough discs to represent the team, and they're not getting actual money of any kind. Maybe they'll get an allotment of discs or something like that, but like annoying. Doc says, for real though, Final, hope in notes you told them you wanted them as similar as possible. Yes, hopefully they're all the same. DJ says, are you making a stop in Jacksonville on your way down? I don't think I can stop in Jacksonville. I really would like to. I would. I really wanted to catch Disc Respect. My buddy Cam. I don't know that I can squeeze that in. I'm really trying to get on the course Monday evening, afternoon, and get a round in tomorrow, and then just kind of practice all week. It's possible that I can stop somewhere on the way back up, though. That should be Monday of next week that I'm headed back up here, and I might be able to kind of take some time to play something on my way out, because I don't have as much of a like daylight cutoff versus tomorrow on the way down, where it's going to be dark at 5:10 or whatever. Josh says, do you play Elden Ring? I have not played Elden Ring. I've played Lords of the Fallen, and I'm trying to remember. It's not the style of game that I like the most. I tend to play kind of survival crafting games or single player RPGs where you get overpowered, like Skyrim or Fallout 4, sort of, although everything becomes a bullet sponge at some point. So that's kind of more where I lean a little bit. I've also played a lot of Rocket League and Rainbow Six Siege, but Elden Ring specifically, I just never happened to, I didn't buy it. I never happened to dive into it and play it. But I'm sure that it's a game I would have either loved or rage quit or a little bit of both. Andrew Peterson says, do you have any coaches or do you coach yourself? I had a lesson with Johnny McRae, and that was transformative and foundational for several parts of my game, and everything else has almost exclusively been like self-taught or YouTube. So I really have developed my own game. I developed my own putt almost completely. Initially was inspired by Greg Barsby, but I've really moved away from that style to my own stance and grip, aim point and release. And it's not that I recommend it for other people, but it's how I figured out that things tend to work for me. And it's worked enough for the amateur division, and it's functioning for pro. I'm cashing. I think I'm winning more than my entry fee by a few dollars. So the bad news is I'm not making a killing from MPO, but the good news is I'm playing all the tournaments I was paying for in MA1 and getting nothing from. And now I'm actually getting my money back. So that's really nice. But yes, I am mostly self-taught, but I will say Johnny McRae's lesson was very fundamental for my footwork and my follow through. It did a lot for my body mechanics and my ability to play multiple rounds in a day and a lot of days in a week without being just tight and sore. Joseph says, I'm cool with the blister. It's just proof that your coaching works. That makes me feel really good. I'm so glad that it helped. Truly, it was such a breakthrough moment for me to go from that pain to the pain disappearing. And I had the privilege, and I like it humbled me to be able to walk up to Johnny McRae, won the Chain Hawk Open a year ago, and thank him personally and tell him how much his lesson helped me and my pain. And he was, happy for me and proud of me because he'd coached me, and then I went on to that level of success. And it was a really touching moment. And he's a really kind person, and I just appreciate him a lot for what he's done for me. And I'm so glad that I'm able to even pass a little bit on to help you out as well. Doc says, wait, so does that mean I'm team birdie time now? Dude says it's just battle scars. Yeah, there you go. Dude says, I want to be on Brad's team. Wait, all I want on a brand team is a jersey and a disc or two a year. Hey, if that's all you want, then welcome to Team Birdie Time. Just for the bragging rights of being on a team? Yeah, there's something to it. I really wish that I wish that yeah, I wish that there were more opportunities because it feels like Lone Star has the lowest bar of all. They accept dogs, literally, on their team, and just cause. Like I don't think they were special. It's a special dog or anything. Otis is just a dog. And then Infinite will accept pretty much anybody. Then otherwise, it's like you just jump up in standards for the different companies, and they're like, no, you have to be a pro. And it's like, don't you have something? I know there's Discraft Underground, but they require you to have only Discraft, and they don't give you that much unless you are top placement in B tiers and A tiers. Yeah. Anyway, right. Doc says I could be in the anti-ambassador team. Dude just says got my stance and release cooked up right now, just swapping between run-ups on Macbeth's pre-throw arm movement right now. Interesting. Try to model my stance between Ganon and Matty-O. Legs of Ganon, arms of Matty-O. Okay. Very interesting. Dude's doing the Macbeth pump classic. Really helps the mental. There you go. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure that it's going to pay off for you. Of practice and experimentation is probably going to help you figure out what really works for you and what really clicks. Andrew says, really want to stick around, but my 3 kids are hungry. Gotta go slave in the kitchen. Looking forward to the next live. Good luck on your next round. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. And I should be streaming next Sunday night after the show, after hopefully I play well in the A tier. So next Sunday night, 7 p.m. That's the plan. We'll see. Hopefully see you there. Doc says, good night, Andrew. Tell the kids we all say hi. Doomsday has a $30 team box you can buy with the opportunity of moving up team ranks, but that's not really an earned team title. Yeah, that's true. I think there are a lot of opportunities for, I don't even want to say lower talented, but just kind of more generally just talented people, but not pro tour level talent to really move plastic and be a representative. And teams aren't recognizing that potential. And it's kind of a bummer because I think that they're a little silly about their requirements for being on a team, and they don't value team members for the value in return that they get from them. Joseph says, always rep Lone Star because they're 20 minutes from the house, but they suck. They're never open. Hey, fair enough. And it's cool to be part of something, and it's if it's part of growing the sport, it's a good thing. So I don't want to knock anybody that has a Lone Star Infinite membership or not membership team member, and I applied to Infinite, and I really talked up my opportunity for live streaming and videos and my audience. And I really talked about how I'm constantly recommending discs to people. People are always asking me, what do you throw? What do you recommend? And I was like, if you guys give me a promo code, I will sell discs for you, because I have people asking, what disc do you recommend? And I can say, this is the disc. Here's my infinite promo code. Use it for, whatever, 15% off. It's a no-brainer. So I'm really hoping that they come back with me and are like, yeah, we're going to work with you and give you more than only a discount for when you purchase stuff from us. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Dude, it says 35 more memberships and he can get a box a month. we should crowdfund Brad a Doomsday box. At his age, it could be his last hurrah. Okay, guys. Okay. Joseph said, let's get Brad a Doomsday box. He clearly doesn't have enough discs. See, I feel like I have enough discs. Doc tells me I don't have enough. I have 2 stacks in my cart, off screen, down the stairs, and I have a few over here. But yeah, I mean, the majority are on the wall, 300-ish. I feel like 300 is enough. At his age, as if you're not older than him. Way older. Doc says, I keep telling him, but he won't listen. I mean, Doc, I just think I have enough discs. I have a spirit of contentment about it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you on Whatnot, you don't have that self-control. I have the self-control, and I also am poor. So there you go. It's a good combo for not buying stuff. Dude says goal is team spot by next September. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I hope you get it. Joseph says, oh no, bro, I only rep it to you. I don't have my own stuff. Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Dude says, just need to get my rating above 910, 920, get some videos, then I'll start applications. There you go. Heck yeah. I mean, it's a great little trajectory to step into here, there, and boom, apply to the team. And September is a great goal for next year. Heck yeah. Doc says, if you don't have to move discs to do laundry or clean, then what are you doing? I mean, I have to move them to vacuum because they're on the floor. I have to move them in the garage because they're in the way sometimes. But yeah, I don't have that type of collection. DJ says, did you play Cho last year? If so, what was your final score? I went 14 down in MA1. Earned myself this bad boy. I was very, very happy about it. Noel is, I would call him a friend. We're not close necessarily, but Noel Smith makes the trophies for Cho. They're super cool. And shout out to Noel. He's an artist, and he partnered with Zuka, and he has a custom design on a Zuka cart bag. Looks sweet. So if you're getting a Zuka, it was one of the coolest things. I just met some people playing disc golf, and I looked down, and I'm like, Noel Smith made that. I know Noel. And they're like, oh yeah, he designed it. It's just super cool. Anyways, yeah, so I ended up, I believe my tournament was rated 998, taking down MA1 last year, and it was cold, man. It was like 40s in the morning when I was playing. Only the 3rd round did I take off my long sleeve undershirt and actually just go in short sleeves, because the rest of the weekend was just cold. This year looks great. It looks like 70s for the entire weekend. Some rain on Saturday, but I'm hoping it's not a torrential downpour, which does happen in Florida. Or maybe it'll rain for lead card, but not me. Fingers crossed. But yeah, 14 down, and that was Northside, Jonesville, Northside. 4-4-6, I believe is how it went. 4 down, 6 down, I believe. Dude just said, I bet he's closer to Ken Climo's age than mine. Yeah, Doc is definitely closer to Ken Climo's age. Doc says he's 57, Brad's 30. I'm not 35. 22. Oh my gosh. I'm just not engaging with that. I'm 30. Joseph says when you go pro, I demand assigned discs. I've sent at least $47 at this point. Absolutely. I want to do a membership tier where it's just like everybody who joins a membership tier for more than a couple months just gets a disc or something like that. Um, so I'm not saying that's the only way that I would do it, but that's a version of something I want to do with the memberships. But yeah, I'll get you a signed disc, no problem. Sounds good. DJ says Noel's a good guy. Played around with him earlier this year. MPO time, baby. Your rating is a tad higher than mine though. What is your rating, DJ? I'm curious. Doc says he already went pro. Yes, I am competing in MPO. Yes, I played MA1 through AM Worlds and then USDGC doubles, which was in October, and then immediately stepped right into MPO. And I'm on a cash streak in C tiers of 4. So I've cashed all of my MPO tournaments so far. I'm really hoping not to lose my streak this weekend at an A tier because that would be a bummer of a cash to miss out on. But I'm not pro. I'm a professional. I am classified as a professional disc golfer for the PDGA, but I'm not in the pro tour or anything like that. But hey, Joseph, if you want to sign disc, send me a DM and we can get that worked out. Alex says you should do it in the bag. I should. I wanted to do another one this year, and I kind of delayed. I was going to do it in the summer. I did one in January, but my bag is different than it was in January. Not only have I lost, but I've just swapped a few out here and there. So I think it is time for it in the bag, but I think I'm going to wait and drop it on December or January like 1st or 2nd, something like that. Oh shoot, I missed Todd's sent pumpkin on head for 400 joules. Thanks, Todd. I really appreciate that. Uh, super nice of you. I missed that for a second. It was down in the comments, but shout out Todd. What a legend. Doc says 30 pro disc golfer life is rough on you. Wow, Doc. No, it's the beard. It makes me look my age. Gosh dang. So cruel. DJ says currently 938. Hey, 930, 935 to 965 was a short time period for me. So hopefully you're really hitting that moment in stride where you're just jumping up in your rating and push straight up to where you belong. But 938 it's MA1, like you're rated MA1, so that's top amateur. Heck yeah. Adam Levis says hello. Thanks for hopping on and stopping by. Adam, appreciate you being here. Joseph says, I don't know how fast I'll first become a member of what Doc told me to do. Doc says, Brad, before the in the bag, let people guess the discs in your bag. Closest wins a disc. I'm wondering how I could pull that off. What form I could. Because if it was a comment section, I would feel bad about. I wonder if I could do like so now I'm actually having to think. Doc makes me think, what in the world does he mean? And now Doc's actually making me think, how would I do that? It's an unusual thinking as a response to one of Doc's comments. I'm trying to think of how I could do it that wouldn't be messy, because I feel like the comment section would be really messy with people leaving a string of discs in the comments. That'd be hard to kind of go through. I wish I had like the easy way would be like a little application theme. Hey Joseph, welcome to Team Brad. All right, Joseph becoming a member. Shout out Doc for convincing him to. Heck yeah, awesome. I joined. Let's go. Awesome, Joseph. What a legend. And with the donation already. So cool. Yeah, Joseph, I'll definitely send me a DM and on Instagram or a message, email or something like that, and I'll make sure you get yourself a signed disc. Coming up. DJ says, I guess Soul for mid-range. Where's my free disc? It'd be cool if I had like a submission form where it would rank you guys automatically, so everybody just submits and then it tells me the winner and I don't have to read through all the comments. That'd be really great. But I will give that some thought, Doc. I like that. That's very cool. Very good idea. Doc says, Joseph, I wouldn't listen to me, but YOLO. Doc says, do a video about it, then people could comment. Yeah, I could do that. I would think it'd be so short, like I'd want to make a short, but then I wouldn't want to make it a YouTube short. I would want to make it a video. Anyway, a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Dude just says, anyone see the new fused zone coming out? Not as exciting as the other fused discs. Interesting. I didn't see it. Todd says, nice membership. Yes. Yes. Just getting the membership off the ground today. So thank you for everyone who has jumped in as a member. So far, I know of Doc and Joseph for you guys joining the memberships. Really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to add more tiers and more perks fairly soon to memberships. And also, I do think I get to add a couple of emotes once a few people become members, because I think it's a limit of 4 emotes. And then once you get a few members, you can jump up to 8 emotes. And I have them. I have more emotes. So I have a few more emote options to have you guys be able to chat. So thanks for hopping on as a member. And I think another couple of members, and I double the amount of emotes that are going to be available. Also, that badge, I have some really cool disc icons for those badges that I'm hoping to work into some membership tiers as well. And those progress the longer that you are a member for a different or a certain amount of months. You start getting a higher tier of badge for it. Dude says, or you could do the guessing in the Discord to promote the Discord more. That also crossed my mind, and I think you're right. My first thought was we don't have enough people in the Discord, and then yeah, that's my second thought is, well, maybe it'll push people to Discord. So that's a good idea. Is there a way in Discord to do like spoilers so people can't see it till everyone guesses? See if you can add a special role for members. Interesting. Anyone can click and reveal anytime, so the spoiler wouldn't work like that. Will one of the icons be Brad as Ed Sheeran? Oh my gosh. No, one of the icons is not me as Ed Sheeran. I'm so sorry. Didn't happen. Todd says, I'm far too poor to live the luxurious lifestyle of a member. Totally understandable. Membership to me, but you know what? I'm asking you guys to anyway. No, a member in spirit. Well, yeah, of course you are, Doc. What a legend. We all understand a spirit membership. There you go. No, and I appreciate it. I know that you guys support me, and when that doesn't come out, specifically financially, I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to pressure anybody. But of course, I'm hopeful that the memberships, coming off the ground will start to tip my channel in a monthly direction that will be more sustainable for the long term. And I appreciate you guys jumping on as members, and hopefully I can really make the memberships worth your while. That's my hope. It's an interesting balance because I really don't want to push memberships to the extent where people who aren't members are like all the good stuff is locked behind a membership. I also want to have something fun and interesting for members that, when you pay for it, you get it, something that you want. So incentive, but I don't want to just, lock out non-members from, normal, like good content, like giveaways. I might also do extra members, but I'm still planning to run amount of giveaways for non-members. Doc says, Brad, any chance you can leave a shoe in Florida for Discmas? Just leave it in Florida anywhere? Are you talking a specific place, or just like be in Florida and just throw it out there and hope somebody finds it? Joseph says, dude, question. I've adopted the Brave per your advice. Good. Then I ordered another one in another plastic. So do you stack the same disc, or do you have a different disc for every line? What's your view? I have 2 Braves in the bag right now. I have 2. They are both Royal Grand Braves. One of them is swirly, one is not, and they fly differently. The swirly is more stable, I believe, and the non-swirly is flippier. And I'm going to be adding a project grip to the bag. So I'm planning on having 3 Braves in the bag. I used to have two Enigmas of different plastic in the bag, and then I had two Enigmas of the same plastic, but they were different. They were beat up, differently, so they flew differently. Right now, I just have the one because I lost my flippier one. But I would say for several discs in your bag, you can bag multiples because they're great discs, and the variety is where you have the usefulness, the differences in use. So Enigma, I used to have two in the bag. Echoes, I used to have two in the bag. Braves, I have two, and I will have three in the bag. Um, so yeah, I don't think you should make your whole bag like that. I don't think you should have just one driver and have four of them, and just one mid and have four of them. But I think you can start building in that direction when you find that disc that is just money, just fits in your hand well, throws perfectly, and get more of them for a little variety of shot shape. So I'm on board with that, but you're also going to need, the Raptor. You're also going to need the Zone. You're also going to need the Destroyer slot filled with something overstable, something more flippy, and then the, shot in the middle, the Brave or the Echo. But yeah, great question. I probably would say I have. Well, now I'm talking too much about my bag. You guys are going to be able to guess my bag. But I have also multiple Wardens in the bag. So I have four discs that I have multiples of in the bag at times now, or not right now, but I have multiples of them in the bag quite often. DJ says, heading out. Hope we can talk more at show. Maybe you can stop in Jack's on your way home. We can do a round at course of your choice, including Black Point. I don't think I've played Black Point. Yeah, man, we'll catch up. Make sure that you catch me at show, and if I'm not absolutely rushed at the moment, we'll sit and talk for a bit. So that sounds really good. And yeah, hopefully on my way up, I can make that space and make something happen. That'd be really awesome. Thanks for jumping in the live stream today, DJ, and I'll catch you at show. Dude just says, added a membership thing in Discord, give you moderator permissions too. Ooh, perfect, thank you. Doc says, on a course with a we sign Mary Discmas. Do you not have Discmas in chat? I don't know what you're... Is this a specific place? I don't understand. Joseph said, just ordered a Grand Orbit Brave. I'll tell you when to order one. Grand Orbit. Ooh, that sounds really nice. Yeah, I've just thrown the Royal Grands and the Project Grip so far. Oh no, I do think I have I have another Brave, a Yakub Tour Series Brave. I don't remember if that's Grand Orbit or not. Dude just says, proud of my disc knowledge progress since last year when I got a chalky Prodigy mystery box. Didn't know that Prodigy discs weren't that great. It's definitely a yes and no, and it definitely depends on when the discs are from. Super old Prodigy and new Prodigy are both good now. Everything in the middle sucks. I have a few chalky Prodigy discs that feel pretty good, but yeah, a lot of them aren't that great. I do bag an M2, and I did bag an X4 for a long time. My brother played as all Prodigy. He maintained his rating. I think he went up 2 or 3 points and won a fair amount of cash this year in MPO in the Charlotte area. But it also seemed like he wasn't playing at his best. And I think an open bag is the way for him because Prodigy is just a... Never went for Prodigy either. Got one the nephew picked out of the used bin, then didn't want. He just says, still remember washing off a dusty base plastic, not knowing how it would fly. Haven't ordered Prodigy since. Yeah, I think they have some fun ones. The M5 looks really great. That's why you got to try out all the brands. Yeah, it's hard. There's too many brands. Joseph says, have a stable, understable for each slot, but realizing that even if it's the same disc, they don't fly exactly the same, so I wanted the POV from a pro. Yeah, and actually that reminds me, I have two FD1s in the bag as well. I really am just spilling the beans about everything in my bag. So if you rewatch the stream, you're going to be able to guess like 10 of my 23 discs. Yeah, and for me, I have an FD1 that's stable, overstable, and one that's like dead straight with a touch of fade at the end. So yeah, the benefit is that there's not as much. It's good to trim down on guesswork and changes when you can, and throwing consistently and repeatedly the same, but changing the disc is technically better for you than throwing the same disc differently all the time for a different shot shape. It's better to be able to throw the same way, same disc, same grip, and then have one disc do one thing, and one disc do another. So it's a benefit, I would say. Dude just says, semi-pro tip, get an MD1 if you ever have extra money. It's a Mako Buzz, but better. Doc says, Discmas is a common thing at my local. Get some premium new disc with a cool stamp. You hide it with a sign like Mary Discmas, only pick one. Don't litter with this piece of paper. Okay. I would say I don't think that that's specifically a thing at either of the Gainesville courses that I played. I know some like hide a disc and then post about it on Facebook and say, hey, go find it near this hole. Definitely an Easter thing that I saw too. I can, if you really want me to leave one of the shoes, I could leave one in Florida if you want. Dude just says the Prodigy, we're definitely in the middle. Lots of flashing and very domey. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Local clubs donate the discs. Yeah. Big disc golf server always has one, but I never sign up. Yeah, gotcha. The Discmas. Joseph says, I'll sign my Grand Orbit and send it to you in exchange. Ooh, sounds good. I will forget if you don't send me a message, a permanent message, because the live stream stuff can slip out of my head. So make sure that you do reach out to me with some sort of direct message to make sure that we're on the same page and I remember. Have to remember. Bob says, hi. Bob, the best DG. Thanks for hopping on, Bob. And Chevy Cod says, did you get the battle pack? I did not get the battle pack. I opened up a gyro box on the channel. Well, it's not posted yet. It's filmed. And then I kept the Echo, which I'm happy about. But I didn't buy the battle pack. I didn't buy the gyro box. Didn't buy the Ledgestone box or Black Friday stuff. Trying to save the money. Doc says, no, maybe I'll win one in my Ledgestone. There you go. Invader is still one of favorite discs. There you go. Dude just says. Dude just says, I saw them but didn't want to shell out 50 plus shipping for 2 copies of a disc I don't like the feel of. That's fair. If I can run into Disc Respect, I know he got the battle pack. So maybe I can get something on camera real quick if I can see him. I need to text him. The problem is I have a bunch of friends in Florida. Like I'll think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, he's not in Gainesville anymore. 8, 9, 10. I have a lot of friends in Florida that I could catch up with, and a lot of them will be at Cho, but some of them won't. And trying to squeeze in a ton of disc golf with a ton of different people and focus on my tournament and head back the next day because I'm hoping to play with NJax when he's in North Carolina next week, the week after. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Flashing seems to be coming back. No more flashing, please. Dude just says was always a sucker for gambling via Pokemon, sports cards, etc. So the battle pack was very tempting. Yeah, that is tough. Cobart says bro is contemplating. Yes. Great pun with plate. Yes, these are disc golf discs. Ugh. And as I always say, you can eat off of it if you want to. This one's going to be disgusting. It's been thrown. But yes, designed to be thrown further and faster than a frisbee, which you can also use as a plate if you really want to. Not safe for microwave use. All of these fly differently. Those are frisbees, Cobart says. Yes, disc golf discs. Different than a frisbee. Dude says usually just consume card content via Instagram Reels and Shorts. There you go. Doc says, we'll talk about that channel. Hear that old man groan. Bob says, any ideas for a good understable fairway for a younger player with a slower arm? 8-speed is my favorite. I would say Diamond would be good. They're usually lightweight and go well for lower arm speeds and younger players. The Shift is a really good one. I think that is an 8-speed. The Brave is great, but might not be flippy enough for what you're looking for. The Virus is, no, I think that's faster. The Roadrunner's great, 9-speed, 9.5, -4.1, I think. Roadrunner can be really good, but you'll probably want to lean towards a cheaper plastic because the Halo ones are going to be too stable. Mamba is faster, but it's very flippy. The Tex is good. That's a 6-speed. Yeah, 6.5, -3.1. That's the Tex. So if Lone Star is on sale right now, that's the way to go. Get a cheap Lone Star. What's this one? This is a really flippy one. I can't remember. Oh, this is just a Maverick. I think this is just an extra flippy Maverick that I had. I think Maverick is a 9-speed. You can always get like a DX Leopard. That's always going to turn over. Joseph said, I don't know how to send a message. Someone help. Discord works, but easiest is email. All right, what did I miss? Doc says Diamond. Hey, I already said that. Dude just says one of the streams we got to get Brad to go through every disc that he owns. That would take forever. Oh, I did it in that video. I have the every disc in my collection video, but that'd be fun. I mean, we could do like 100 a stream until I get through all of them. I don't think I want to do 301. That video took me like an hour to film, and then I had to like cut it together and edit it and everything. An hour of filming just while I was sitting here talking. Doc says, Dujit, cruel. I love it. The old man Sapphire disc, times are creeping up on him. Good night. Just because I'm well years doesn't mean you have to make fun of me. Leopard 3, if they need something a bit easier, Leopard 3 can work. Virus is like 11 to 12 speed. Okay, too fast. I know it's super flippy, but yeah, too fast. Maverick is a little slower, but one of my favorites. That is a good one. Thought Space Persona. There you go. 7.5 -3.1. 7 speed. Yeah. Doc says, Bob, consider Innova factory store or discount discs. They won't be worried about stamps. Ryan says, can I get a shout out? I won't give a direct shout out, but I read your comment, so it's kind of the same thing. But I don't endorse anybody that I haven't looked into. So as far as I'm concerned, Ryan's cool, but I have no clue. Joseph says, I don't have social media. I'll just trust the process. Yeah, email's the smoothest one. So yeah, email me at birdietime@gmail.com. That should be the easiest way to directly get in touch with me. And it's going to be private. So, if we're exchanging addresses and stuff like that, it's all going to be safe and secure. Dude just says an hour is like a third of the stream. You'll be fine. I don't know if I can push the 3-hour stream these days. Feeling it, my old age. I really pushed for those 4-hour streams when I was trying to get monetized, when I needed watch time on my live streams. Man, was I leaning into those 4-hour streams. That was brutal. Joseph says, dude, another question. Do you change your disc for a shot shape, or do you go from backhand to forehand, vice versa? I rarely go forehand, but I do need it for scrambling. So I would say, generally speaking, I change the disc for the shot shape. Occasionally, there are a few things that go on in my head. For instance, if I have a wide open backhand or forehand, I'm going to throw the backhand because I can shot shape a sole better than I can forehand a zone. But if I have stuff blocking me on my left side and wide open on the right, then I'm not going to throw a low percentage backhand versus a very high percentage forehand. I'll throw the forehand. So I kind of have an internal calculation of the difficulty of at a certain point, the backhand, it could be harder to pull off than the forehand. My forehand is worse, so the backhand's better. But at a certain point, the backhand shot is so difficult that I'll switch to the forehand because it's so much easier to execute, and the result is going to consistently be a par and not a bogey. But if the backhand is going to be, well, it could birdie, but I'm probably bogeying, then it's like, okay, we need to make a different decision. And then sometimes I'll have to think about how to create the shot shape, and I'll have to do an anhyzer or a hyzer flip or something like that. But usually I'm looking at the line I have to hit and then selecting the disc based on the shot shape that I need. And then if I don't have it, if it's not possible, then I think about hyzering, anhyzering. I think about rollers. I think about an overhand throw. I think about the forehand. But generally speaking, that doesn't come up too often. Good question. Doc says the good old days. Every stream, summer countdown. Yeah. Those were long. Brad, off season doing a lot of forehand only rounds. Uh, I'll tease upcoming video that I'm planning to film. 21 Sabian was talking about his forehand. Ran into him at Kilbourne, and we're planning, not scheduled yet, but we're planning a forehand instructional video where he's gonna break down my forehand and show how he throws a far forehand, and we'll see where I can work my forehand to within the time frame of filming that video. So I'm pretty excited for it. I'm hoping to have a bit of a forehand breakthrough moment and have something to build off of to get my forehand into. But I'm still happy with my forehand. Like if you just saw my post this morning, my almost the best scramble shot I've ever thrown. This is almost the best scramble forehand I've ever thrown. That was a monster flex forehand that I pulled out, and I almost like, put it in the bullseye or hit the pin or something like that. Um, Chevy says, any tips on getting nose angle down? I would say the best thing that keeps my form but just changes the disc nose angle is shifting around your thumb on the flight plate of the disc, on the top of the disc, I mean. For me, it actually ended up that my nose angle got better when my thumb got toward the outside rim of the disc. So I generally grip a disc like this. I don't have my thumb toward the center. A lot of pros say get that thumb in the middle of the disc and it's going to help. I think that's true, especially for power grip, for getting your nose down. But I would say do some testing of moving that thumb around and see if it makes a difference with the nose angle that you're throwing with. The other thing that could help is making sure that your hips aren't tilting in a way that you're kind of leaning upwards on your swing. And then make sure that you're not scooping and throwing nose up because you're dropping your arm in your backswing. You want that reach back and throw to be generally flat across. You really don't want to dip it down toward your waist. So watch some video of yourself throwing, analyze your form a little bit. If your throw and swing is good and it's just nose up, then look at your thumb. And I would say that's likely what's going to be changing the nose angle for you if everything else is good. Dude just says, think like you're pouring coffee as you're throwing. Just activate the wrist muscles. I pour coffee like this, so that doesn't help me. Joseph says, you're very good at elaboration. Thank you. So I think sometimes I talk too much, but I'll take this as a compliment. Disc Golf 394 says, hi. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you swinging through the live stream. Doc says, Chevy, Brad will have some good ideas, but also maybe check on YouTube, try a bunch of stuff. Something will give you that aha moment. Doc, will leave the channel and go to other. And I thought you were a fan of the membership process. Dude says, did the founder of Disc Golf just join the stream? Disc Golf 394 himself. Mr. Disc Golf himself. That's great. Doc says that would be Steady Ed, and if he joins, this means this is now a ghost podcast. Digit says that's some ball knowledge right there. All hail Steady Ed Hedrick. Yeah. I don't know how to spell his last name. I think it's Headrick, I believe. Joseph says, I do sometimes play rounds where I drive both backhand and forehand. Started forehand because I played baseball for 14 years. That is a good reason to throw a forehand. I played baseball I didn't. I played softball for church, and that was it. I played t-ball and then softball, but I did 15 years of soccer, so that helps me with disc golf. I think it helped my core and just general athleticism, but I don't think it helps me throw very much. Dude just says, if you need advice on how to lose discs in the woods, just ask me. My advice on how to lose discs in the woods is don't watch where they land. Then you will be like my friends Jared and Kyle. Doc says, will do, Dugit. I would talk about how Steady Ed on Johnny Carson, but I think we would lose Dugit. Dugit says, never heard of Johnny Carson, so you've already lost me. He's basically the, Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel of 40 years ago. Doc says, me sits in his rocker. Was that right, Doc? 40 years ago? Am I going back too far? I think 40 years ago. Probably doesn't know Conan. Well, that's why I mentioned Jimmy Kimmel as well. Conan's still working. Like, he's not done. Conan's not done. He's still going. I think he still has a show. Dude just says, my advice is to throw 6 discs off the top every hole. You're bound to forget one. K-Dog Disc Golf says, hi, thanks for hopping on. Remy says, do you remember me? Absolutely. It's been a few streams, but glad you're back. Doc says, Conan has a podcast that's pretty good. Dude just says, I do know Conan. See, I told you, Doc. Come on. You got to trust me. Not that young. Well, that's the thing. Like, Instagram Reels. Conan comes up on Instagram Reels a lot. And he has a lot of classic one-liners and, like, his stuff with Norm Macdonald from back in the day. Top-notch stuff. Absolutely hilarious. Doc says, throw pink discs so you lose them in all those pink leaves that definitely exist. That's good advice. That's a good way to do it. Remy says, I tried to go on your stream, but you never said something about me. What? That doesn't sound like me. Did I miss your comment? I'm sorry. Dude just says, throwing shade on colorblind people. That's just Doc. He's just cruel like that. And there are pink discs. I've seen them. Pretty sure. I think so. Doc says, you can do that when you're old? Yeah, old people are mean sometimes. I love them. Old people are great. They can get a little ornery. Anyway. Pink discs, pink leaves. There's pink leaves in my neighborhood. Not now. But there were pink leaves in my neighborhood for a month. On the ground, waiting for a disc. Dude just says, not gonna lie, the watt kind of let me down. Too much like a more throwable glitch. Interesting. Were you hoping it was more flippy, more understable? I didn't groan that time. My hip did just crack a little bit. Disc Golf 394 says, trying to learn to throw the forehand 350. Right now throwing maybe 250, but should I just learn learn to throw lefty backhand, which I can do around the same distance? I'll actually advocate for the forehand because it's more generally helpful for scramble shots when you have to do a standstill or you have to stance out around a tree versus the backhand. Even though I love the backhand, for me. Doc says, didn't care for the watt either. Oh, a disc that Doc doesn't like. Whoa. Gavin said, did you get the Luna Battle Pack or Gyro box? I didn't get either. I didn't buy either. But I did do a gyro box opening. I filmed it, and I should be dropping that video later this week. And I nabbed the Echo from it for my buddy. But I opened up his box on camera, which is pretty fun, and looked at the 11 discs. So it was not the brick and mortar box. So there are some pretty cool ones in there. I think you guys will enjoy that little unboxing video. Yeah, I didn't end up paying for any of those boxes myself. I said, I'll keep my money. I did want the Echo, though. The Echo looks nice. Doc says, wanted to like the Tesla just for the name. Disc Golf 394 says, thanks for the answer. Absolutely, of course, no problem. That is my thought process. Hopefully it's relevant and helpful. If not, I'm sorry. Dude just says, wanted to be a Glidier Invader so it could do without the 0.5 turn and less fade. Oh, gotcha. Stu says, the DGPT is having a doubles event at the Preserve. Would you like to see more double events at other tour stops? 100% yes. I think that doubles is a highly slept on format that's enjoyable. People love watching highlights, and you are incentivizing more highlights with doubles. Even match play incentivizes some highlights, but doubles more so, I would say, than match play, because it's not just you trying to get yourself out of something. You can have a perfect shot from your teammate and be highly aggressive on something. So 100%, I think doubles are great. I think they're a lot of fun, and they're a little bit unique. So if they're overdone, if it's doubles every week, I think it gets old. But yeah, we almost no doubles right now. So a handful of events throughout the year are a fantastic idea. I love it. Doubles pro tier tournaments, let the pros pick their partners. Oh my gosh. Hunter, thanks for hopping on and joining the stream. Gannon and Schleibach would be hilarious. Misspelled the man's name. Misspelled the man's name, and he had enough people steal, mess up his work, and don't want to add to it. Wait, whose name? Tesla's name? Wait, what are you talking about? I'm a little lost on that. Nikola Tesla? Yeah. K-Dog says you should ask everybody in the chat what's their most reliable disc. All right, guys, what is your most reliable disc? Everybody say what your most reliable disc is. I would say my most reliable disc is my Taco. Most reliable. I know exactly what it's going to do. Doc says Dragon. It's going to fly away. Never be seen again. Dude says Zone. Disc Golf 394 says Green Z Zone that flies straight. Ooh, that's beaten in a little bit. That's nice. Dude says if we're talking like how it flies, 10 out of 10, then the Zone. K-Doc says Innova Beast. I feel like there's more variety in the Beast, but if it's a reliable disc for you, then heck yeah, why not? That's awesome. Doc says, I want to know the childhood bedtime story with a dragon in it that hurt Brad so bad. You don't understand. My favorite book is Aragon. Dragon riding is part of my deepest love of fantasy novels. The Inheritance Cycle is my favorite series. Christopher Paolini is my favorite author. So I have nothing against dragons. I have something against the piece of crap plastic that I picked up that says Innova Dragon on it. And I went, clunk, clunk, clunk. I went, oh, a free disc. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Oh my gosh, what is this? This is a piece of crap. And I threw it once and it was a piece of crap. So that's what I have against, it's not the dragon, stamp. It's like not liking a stingray and being like, oh, so you're anti-ocean, are you? It's ridiculous. Joseph says, dude, another question. I'm loving these questions. Keep them rolling. You definitely paid for them, so no worries. Example, Eagle McMahon throws everything hyzer and flips up to flat and pushes. Ezra Aderholt throws flat and it flies flat and pushes. How do they get the same shape with different releases? They throw different discs. Eagle McMahon is throwing a disc that has some turn to it, and Ezra is throwing a neutral disc without turn. So if they threw the exact same disc, they would not have that completely different flight. So Eagle is now MVP and Ezra's Discraft. So if Ezra throws a Buzz OS, let's say, and just drive straight, and Eagle threw a Buzz OS on that hyzer, it wouldn't flip up and drive straight. It would hyzer. There's this Eagle just bombs. They both throw super stable, but they're not identical discs. So I would even say that Eagle does bomb. I can't lie. That's true. But I would say that they're definitely throwing a different disc. 100%. Dude just says, speaking of straight zone, really want to try out the Zone SS sometime. Just waiting on a local guy to get some. Zone SS is magic. It's great. It's fantastic. In the bag, in the bag, in the bag. Dude just says, Eagle probably puts more spin on his disc or the disc is more understable. Ezra probably throws the disc more stable than... Yep. Doc says, Joseph, depends on how you stand. Lean back versus lean forward. No, I don't... No, because I don't think that your stance... I think your stance affects your angle, spin rate, and speed. But I don't think that your stance independently affects how a disc flies. Because angle, spin rate, and speed are the factors that matter. And nose angle and wobble. Wobble is important. If Eagle McMahon throws with wobble, it would also explain it. Because the beginning of the flight would fly very understable, and then once the wobble stops, it would stable out. But I don't think so. Disc Golf 394 says, what is your rarest disc? Mine is a 5-claw Paul Macbeth Force. Rarest disc is... Oh, jammed in here. Nate Sexton 2017 Glow Firebird. I won this in an ace throw-off, and this is probably the closest I have to like a collector disc for its own value. It has its inherent value based on what disc it is. And for me, my most rare disc are these two Innova Gators. The discs themselves aren't specifically special. They're special because these are from Paul Macbeth's personal collection. I won these at the same time as the Nate Sexton Firebird, and he donated these from his shelf. He donated them, and he even has the like Team Innova from when he was with Innova, before he was with Discraft. So Innova gave these to Paul when he was a team member. He kept them and then donated them, and I won them. So for me personally, these are more rare because they're Paul's. But I think just for what the disc is, the Nate Sexton Firebird is my rarest disc in and of itself. Dude just says, AKA Heiser versus Anheuser release. Yeah, the angle is what I'm. Yeah, I was getting at that. Do. Yeah, the 5 claw is pretty awesome. Yeah, that's true. RIC says it's a joke because his rules are not to talk about politics. Well, then you should know like the rules are there for a reason, so your comments will be deleted. You're not getting kicked, but what you say is going to get deleted because it is against the rules. So I get that it's for fun, but it's also you should know that those are going to be the consequences. Disc golf stream, not a politics stream. Wrong place for sure. Jeffrey says, could you guess how much money you've spent on discs? Doc says several grand. I will tell you, not even close. I am very fortunate. Most of my discs have been given to me or won, or I've gotten them through merchandise credit. So if you want to ask how much I've spent on disc golf tournaments, then we are going to start pushing that thousands mark, maybe 2,000 that I've spent on tournaments. But if we're going to talk about, that's over 4 years, if we're going to talk about how much I've actually spent on discs, I've probably spent $500 on discs at most. And most of that was a couple of mystery boxes that I bought. Otherwise, I don't buy discs. I use merchandise credit. I have people to disc review. I have them through credit. I win them. I get them in players packs. So yeah, I pay for turn and other events where I get discs from, but I don't buy discs very often. So the vast majority of these, like I could walk through them, and like it'd probably take me a few seconds to like get a disc where I'm like, oh, I bought this. I just paid for this. I'll do it. I'll actually do it. Given to me. Here we go. Found it already. Bought it for $5 used from the Chainhawks. Given to me. Merchandise credit. Players pack. Traded for it. Ugh. Given to me for a disc review. Players pack. Found it and called the guy. He lived in Texas. Given to me. Players pack. Like you see, like I'm not buying these discs. So out of those 14 discs, I only paid money for one of them, and it was $5. So for the most part, I'm not going out and buying $30 discs. Birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, stuff like that. Yeah. Doc says, oh, I meant me for several grand. That's true. That is very true. I think Doc spent a grand on whatnot in the last couple months. Joseph says, another question. Love the questions. Would you rather max out a mid or a baby a driver depending on distance? Great question. Used to max out mids as my preference, but sometimes gap hitting is just easier with a driver. So for me, mentality matters. So I would say it depends on how I'm throwing that day, that week. But usually the shot shape is the most important thing. If a shot shape is a gentle fade the whole way, it can be really hard to finesse that with a mid, but really easy to throw a stable driver. And if you just throw a stable driver into the gap and it fades the whole way for you, and you would have to hyzer a mid with a gentle flip up and gentle fade, then just throw the driver. It's just simpler, it's easier. If it's super windy, I'm throwing a more stable and faster disc just to make the angle happen, make the shot shape work. So That's a great question. I do think I would say it's just a toss up depending on the situation. If I'm trying to play ground play, I do try to throw a driver. If it's a low ceiling, I try to throw a driver. Um, but if I'm trying to be really accurate and land close, then it's better to throw a mid range because I don't have as much ground play. I'm not going to have as much variety if I hit something. So just kind of depends. Doc says 300 plus do even $10 to $15 a disc. Yeah. Disc Golf 394 says how many discs you have. I have about 300. About 300. I counted at 245 a few months ago, and I got a couple of mystery boxes and players packs and stuff like that. K-Dog says, what do you putt with? I like the flight of your putt on your shorts. Thank you. I putt with Wardens. I do like the Warden. The Judge is good, but I like the beadless feel to it. I also enjoy putting with the P2. Have done it. I don't do it. Came in a mystery box. But I just love the Warden. I don't know. It's the first putter I really putted with, and it was actually the classic plastic. But once I switched to primes, I've never looked back. And now I have 14 of them that I can just grab and go practice with. So the Warden is the putter for me, and they always have been. I've tried a lot of putters. I've done PA3s, I've done Pixels, I've done Wizards, and I've never wanted. The P2 was close, but other than the P2, I've never wanted to putt with a different disc. I always want to come back to the Warden. It's just better for me. Disc Golf 394 says, what is your favorite brand? Latitude is high up there. I love the Royal Grand Plastic. I like Cosmic Neutron Plastic a lot, so Streamline has a little affinity for me, but I don't think I could just only throw Streamline or anything. I think I could do that with Latitude. So I usually shout those out as my top two. Discmania is up there. I like Discmania a lot. Dude says, personally, Discmania and Discraft is a tie. They're both good. Disc Golf 394 says mine is Discraft, only bag Discraft. They have good discs. Discraft is popular for a reason, and they have good discs. I happen to prefer different plastics and different manufacturers, but I have a Soul, well, I'm almost going to throw a Buzz SS back in the bag. I have a Zone. I have a Zone SS. I thought I had one more Discraft, but maybe not. Hey, Jiki hopping on. Welcome to Team Brad. What a legend. Another member joining. And Jiki, shout out for connecting me to Morgs, who put together the emotes and badges. So thank you. And actually, I even misphrased that. Not only connecting me, but giving me the emotes and badges for my birthday. What a legend. I didn't forget that, but I didn't clarify that at first. Dude just says, fallen out of favor with MVP. The hand feel of Discmania and Discraft are just so good. Doc doesn't have a favorite brand, except for the end of a dragon. If the dragon was a brand, that would be Doc's favorite. DGA was your last favorite brand, but we lost Tyler. So you're a Tyler fan, not a DGA fan. There you go. Usually followed brands because of their personalities, not the players. Joseph says, I cannot putt with putters. I putt better with mids. Can you explain? No. It might be wobble. Mid-range is going to help you if you're wobbling a lot. I would say do a lot of experimentation with grip and stance. I think if you start varying your stance and grip a lot, switch to straddle putt, switch to a push putt, or switch to a spin putt. Try stancing a little bit differently. Try weight shifting a little bit differently. I think you'll start finding when you do get something that leaves your hand well, when the disc is hitting the chains, you want a putter, not a mid. But it sounds like for whatever reason, the putter's not leaving the hand clean. So if that is because you don't have a spin putt leaving the hand well, then that could cause wobble. And a mid range is going to fight that better, probably. And it's a thinner profile. So really, it might just be that. It might just be the thin profile. So you might even want to go with just a shorter putter. Pig, I think, is a shorter putter. Don't putt with a polecat. Doc says, dude, I wish you could have known Disc Golf Answer Man. You would have loved Robert. Dude just says all my favorites like Gannon, Niklas, and Gavin Babcock are all Discmania. They have a power team. Doc says Joseph knew a guy liked to putt with the Rock. A new guy that liked to putt with the Valkyrie. GQ says Team Brad might be a scam. Ezra and Robinson, or Aderhold and Robinson are on Discraft. That's true. Dude says, I'll give you the Discord member role now, GQ. There you go. GQ says $3.99 is diabolical. There's auto integrations for that. Hey, I set up memberships today. I didn't even ask Dujit to do anything. He volunteered. So I have no expectation that Dujit had figured that out or something. But what are you talking about with the integration? I have no idea what that is. GQ says putting with the mid can make sense if you're trying to get more speed to the basket. No. You don't understand. I met GQ. I watched him putt with a mid. I said, why are you putting with a mid? He said, it's a putter. I picked it up and said, it says mid-range on it. He switched to a putter and his percentage went up by 30%. So I would say don't putt with a mid. But if it's working for you, I'm not arguing with you. If it's working for you, it's working. Yeah, you were putting with a compass, GQ. Fortnite Ben says, can I have a blue plate for free? This blue plate is a disc golf disc called a Strive, and they are not free. It goes pretty far, though. Ugh. Wrong direction. Doc says, what's wrong with the polecat? Self-explanatory. For putting, throwing is good. Putting is different. Dude just says, just forehand, a 14.5 putting. Dimension at full power. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. K-Dog says, how do you think I can get more distance as a young player throwing 350 to 400? Get coaching from somebody better than me. I would say if you're throwing 350, 400, you probably have a basic form that's decent, like me. That's generally my range. I usually don't push over 400 very often. And you probably have a decent swing, but something's probably off in your timing. So I would watch videos about, maybe try to watch slow motion throws of Gannon, AB, the people that have that power, and slow motion of your own throw and compare them. See if you can notice those moments of difference where their body's turning before or after you, their hips are engaging before or after, their legs are moving, their arm is waiting and lagging, and try to see how they set themselves up and at what moment each body part starts moving to create the throw. I cannot give you specific advice because I don't know your form, and I can't throw much over 400, so I'm not in a position to necessarily, coach that. Dude just says focus on timing, power to get feedback on form. That's what I do. Yeah. Rackle says hi. Thanks for hopping on, Rackle. GK says mod me and I'll set it up. All right. Okay. Fine. Do you need managing mod or are you good with standard? Keith says, where in Florida will you visit? I will be in Gainesville. So I'll be playing the Chain Knock Open A tier. And that's going to be Northside Park, Legacy, in Alachua, where I used to live, 5 minutes from where I used to live. So it's kind of back to my hometown, my disc golf hometown, that is. I grew up in Michigan. And that's pretty much where I'm going to be. I might be able to clip Jacksonville on my way back out to get a quick round in, but that's pretty much where I'm going to be, is right in Gainesville. So I'm excited. I've played the Chain Knock Open for the last 3 years, and I won MA3 and MA1. So I'm hoping to really take a nice jump up into MPO and put up a top 15 finish out of 57 and get more than my entry fee back out of it if I can cash. Jiki says, in Discord, definitely not on YouTube. Wait, you need to be a Discord mod? I thought you were talking about the integration being on the YouTube side of things. You're saying on the Discord side of things, you're integrating with YouTube? I don't know enough about Discord. Dujit, can you mod him in Discord? Okay, Dujit gave you full permission. There you go. GQ will take channel mod for now if you can be trusted. Add to it says nice kitchen behind you. Yeah, I would not eat off of disc golf discs. They're gonna be pretty disgusting, and they're meant for throwing, not eating or washing. Hey, Benton with Jules, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Doc says slow motion is behind the paywall now. Aduet says, in what ways can these skills be used in survival or battle or even crime? Well, for my day-to-day life, survival, battle, and crime don't come up very often, so I don't need them. But I would say you can absolutely hurt somebody with a disc and wound them or even knock them unconscious. And if you wanted to build a disc that had a place for your hand and you could put razors or sharpen the disc somehow, you could make absolute weapons out of them, especially. Jiki says, okay, cool, gonna nuke everything now. Poor Dujit. Rackle says, what days are you playing Northside and which are Legacy? Northside is Friday and Sunday, and Legacy is Saturday. So it's a Legacy sandwich. Benton says, what is your favorite disc? Favorite discs are the Brave and the Echo. Ugh. There's the old man grunt. Here's one of my Echoes here. Brave is that gently flippy 7-speed, 6 glide, good control, but great distance. And the Echo is just that neutral mid-range. It just seems to do what I want every single time I throw it. Also love the Enigma, the Soul. Dude just says you could definitely take someone out with the disc. Doc says I like the razor disc idea. Oh, I thought of that a long time ago. Joseph says I've used my disc for water bowls for the dogs. There you go. That's practical. The Condor, yeah, there you go. That's where it's done. I mean the Sonic does pretty well. The Makani is a full-on plate and PDJ legal. The Polecat isn't bad. It's just bad for putting, no matter what Doc tries to tell you. Joseph says, I want your Echo signed. I've never had one. Ooh. I have a few Echoes. Could I give you... Ugh. Oh, come on. How would you feel about a circuit challenge Echo? I think it glows blue. Well, actually, I should be able to test it. You're barely going to see it, but that should glow a little bit for you. Let's see how well that works. Yeah, you can see that it's blue. Yeah. Heck yeah. I forgot that light was on there. Yeah, oh, Echo. They're a little bit more stable. Condors are fun. Benton says have both of those discs and love them. Heck yeah. Joseph says $50 final offer. All right, $52.50. All right, we're talking now. Now we're talking. Doc says, oh, Dujit says, I bet he'd send you a shoe for free. Yes, I would. Get rid of those as soon as possible. Steph says he's the master of putting. Steph always in the comments to hype me up about my putt. Usually after I actually throw or I actually have a good putt. Usually not after I fail. But those happen too. Benton sent thumbs up for 10 joules. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Doc says actually showed up pretty good. Yeah, that flashlight's really nice. It really like just beams into the disc and makes it glow really quickly. The UV light is nice. Steph says listen to all he speaks. You can count on Doc saying that like clockwork. Shoes are great. Yeah, that's Doc. Chiki says I think you need to connect your specifically to the Discord server so it knows your channel is the one that's linked to memberships. I don't know what that means, but I will figure that out eventually. Dude just says, what is everyone's favorite disc plastic? Doc says Excel plastic. Joseph says, all right, 57.85. Send it in the Taco Bell gift card. Ooh, now we're talking. Cash is king. That is true. Because I can get Taco Bell with cash. 100%. 100%. Yeah, man, I'll hook you up with an Echo for sure. Love the Z Flex Jawbreaker. It's pretty top tier. That's top tier plastic. I'm a sucker for the S-Line Discmania and the Royal Grand Latitude. And Cosmic Neutron. Streamline. Hey, the Black Bandit says, what's up, Brad? Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you swinging through. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since you jumped in the stream. Benton says, how much would you sell that glow in the dark? I would say, it's a tough question. I would say I would sell most discs for like $20. If you want it signed or something like that, I could do that. If it's really beaten up, I'm not going to charge that much. Depending on the disc, depending on if I like really like it or not, or the circumstances I got it. Oh my word. Dude, it says, also Taco Bell update. The newly built Taco Bell seems close to opening. The building turned purple last week. Heck yeah, that's a sign. You know that's about to start churning out the customers. Once they have the real judge of whether or not Taco Bell is ready to open is when the bathroom starts working. That's when they're ready for the customers. I try to say that in a somewhat comprehensible way, but it wasn't happening. Just message me on Discord or call me. I'll walk you through it after stream. Gotta head out. Yeah. I won't have time this week. I'm out of here. I'm going to be in Florida, but I will catch you later on that. Thank you, Cheeky. Appreciate it. Steph says, I throw the showstopper. Showstopper. Doc says, just hope Duja doesn't give up disc golf for Taco Bell. That doesn't make any sense. You can have both. K-Doc says, what bag does everybody use? I have a grip bag. Grip bag is nice. Black Bandit says, $20 for the honey you have in the bag? No. Yeah, I have a Latitude bag. I think the Core bag or something like that. I can't remember. And I have it on my cart. Doc says, DD Paratrooper. Joseph says, bro, you're about to get you rich on a disc yard sale upcharge. I would not charge 55 for a disc. It would have to be a special circumstance for that. I would not gouge. I would not gouge you guys. I promise. Pay for a membership. It's only $3.99. Dude just got a squash lure bag for my birthday. Ooh. Joseph says, I'm Team Brad, bro. $60 for a signed disc. Well, yes. 100%. I'll never turn it down. All right, I've got about 7 more minutes in me, and then I've got to wrap this up. Early morning tomorrow, gotta finish packing. I have a bunch of clothes on the floor off screen that I've got to get packed up in the duffel bag. Gotta make sure I have all my stuff. Need my laptop ready because I'm gonna be doing a lot of editing this week. But I should be able to film all 3 of my rounds of the Chainhawk Open. So we should be able to see all 3 rounds of me competing in the tournament, and I'll try to give like a quick update every few holes of where I am, where I'm sitting in relation to the field, and I should be able to drop those before the end of next week. You guys should be able to see my experience of the Chainhawk Open. Steph says, tell the chat the blessing that you shared with me. Shoot, was it Isaiah 52? I forget the verse now. Do I still have it pulled up? I don't have it pulled up. Dang it. I don't have it memorized, Steph. You put me on the spot. It's something about the trees clapping your hands for you if you follow the word of the Lord. And if they do, they let your discs through. It's a little bit sacrilegious, but I thought it was funny. A Black Bandit with a 5. Thank you so much. Get yourself Taco Bell on the way. Oh, I will. Thank you so much. What a legend. Paying for me to swing through and get a beefy 5-layer burrito on my way to a tournament. Huh. It's the way to my heart. Doc says paratrooper great for hydration. Can get 2 water bottles in each pocket, or a 32 ounce. Wow. Dude just says I could maybe get 3 if I really tried. Kevin says good luck, bro. Thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate it. I'll keep you guys updated. Doc says, Brad, if you see the Oakleys, tell them I said hi. Like Eric Oakley? I don't think Eric's playing. Do you know of different Oakleys that are playing? K-Dog says, what's the biggest tournament you've won? Actually, this tournament that I'm going to in MA1 last year. So I won the Chainhawk Open in MA1. Very happy with this, hand painted by Noel. And yeah, it wasn't necessarily the best I've ever played in a tournament, but winning an A tier in any division is significant. And I've won it in MA3 and MA1. So I'm 2 for 3 for wins in the Chainhawk Open. Unfortunately, playing against Garrett Gerthy this year, so I don't think I'm going 3 for 4. I think I'm going 2 for 4. But it should be a fun weekend. Should be great. That's the biggest tournament that I've won. The best I've played in a tournament was 15th at Am Worlds. I was tied for first after round 1 and made lead card coverage. Second best I've ever played in a tournament was Charlotte Roar Open. I got on a lead card with Paul Uleberry and beat him. So that was the second best. I turned down cash for that tournament. Doc says, in summer, usually put 2 frozen and then 2 cold water bottles in. Dude just says, good luck with Cho. Just keep the mindset that you're a touring pro, and this is an easy win for a player of your caliber. Thank you. I will do my best. I really think mindset is a lot of it, and I'm also going to get in a lot of putts this week. Joseph says, attaboy bandit. Oh, yeah. Brad can compare Taco Bells by states along the way. Trust me, I've experienced quite a few Taco Bells between Florida and Michigan at this point, and North Carolina in the middle. Doc has been detrimental to my typing abilities and to my reading abilities. You're welcomed. Oh, gosh. Next, you'll be yelling at kids to get off your lawn. Dude just says next year he'll win MA 55. Ikena says, what is your thought process when putting? Great question. So I actually have a putting tips video. You should watch that. It's about 20 minutes. And I really break down what I do to practice and experiment with putting, and then my mindset in the moment. But basically, I go feet to hands. I really go feet to head. So I go set my stance, make sure that I'm not standing on a root or a rock or anything like that. Kick some leaves out of the way, whatever you need to do to get your feet planted and make sure you're not slipping. And then you go up to your hands, make sure your grip is good. And then you go up to your eyes and ears. If there's an obnoxious noise, recognize it and then tune it out. If people are moving, if there's a flag moving in the breeze, recognize it, then ignore it. Focus on the basket, get your eye on the chain that you're aiming at, and then double check that your grip is good. And then once everything is set, as long as there's no massive wind or a surprise or anything, then you just want to go for your putt like normal. Do what you practice, do your best to make the putt. You're gonna miss some putts at some point, so don't worry about missing that putt or making that putt. If you've practiced enough, you'll make most of your putts that are reasonable, in the circle putts. So having that repetition, that confidence helps a lot, and not letting your body wait too long and freak out about a putt. Once you've set yourself, go through your motion and do your best to make it. That's all you can do. Joseph says you have plans to play in Texas. Not specific plans. I'd love to play in Texas, but I don't have anything scheduled. Candlelight says, who's filming you for the Chainhawk Open? As far as I know, I have Rackle filming me for the Chainhawk Open. That is the understanding that I have. Rackle says, have you had the Taco Bell desserts? Cinnabon Delights? Yes. Cinnamon Twists? Yes. Other desserts? I don't know. Are there others? Steph says, I'm in Texas. You're always welcome. Always welcome in Texas. Heck yeah. Steph says, glad I met you-ish before you went pro. You're definitely going to kill it. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Doc says, think Taco Bell and NC is average. We don't shoot for the stars, but we don't hit bottom. Dude is heading out. Have a good week, Dujet. Hey, Black Bandit, drop the putting video. Thank you so much. Cinnabons are too expensive. The problem, it's also a solution with the Cinnabons, is you don't want to get 2, you want to get 12. Then they're more more value. But then you have to eat all of them, which is again not a problem, but you might not be able to handle that. The worst Taco Bell experience of my life was on the way back from Am Worlds, and I got a 12 pack of Cinnabon Delights to celebrate Am Worlds, and they were cold. And I mentioned it to the guy, and he said, "Yeah, our thing just doesn't heat them well." And that was it. No refund, no replacement. And I was like, "Okay, I guess thanks for the food you knew was bad that you sold me anyway. Thanks." But yeah, if you get a dozen, they're not too expensive. Okay, okay. Always get Brad Cinnabons. He will give you a disc. Yeah, that's probably true. All right, guys. Thank you for joining and hanging out. Thank you, everybody who became a member. Thank you for the donations, the super chats, and the jewels. Everybody, this has been a fantastic stream. I'm really excited for next week. I want to come on the stream with good news about the tournament, so fingers crossed. But either way, I'm going to get in the practice that I can. I'm going to get myself prepped to the best of my ability to compete over the weekend against the likes of Garrett Gurthey, Corey Ellis, Braden Sides, Chandler Kramer, big names played, top tier disc golf. Let's hope that I kind of keep up with some of them. Joseph has got to go. Catch you on the next 5. Heck yeah, sounds good. And thank all of you for hanging around, for supporting the channel, and hanging out in the live stream. Love you guys. I'll catch you soon. Peace out. Now, the worst part of the day is when I have to stand up. Oh gosh.